This is the epilogue to the story of Fallout 76 Wastelanders. Of course, we don't know how our choices inside Vault 79 have a greater impact on the world outside of Appalachia. They're certainly not referenced by any of the factions or people who were living 200 years after the apocalypse. But the people and factions involved in the raid on Vault 79 change, or at least give us some closure concerning the events that transpired. We can start by seeing what has changed back at Foundation, and honestly, not a whole lot has. We'll start by going into Penny's office and checking out her terminal. Remember, when we came here, after rescuing her, we only found one personal entry. But after the Vault 79 heist, this terminal hasn't changed. We still only find that one personal entry. However, Penelope was designed to fill out this terminal as we progressed with the settlers. For some reason, Bethesda chose to cut this content. It's still very interesting content, which can still be found in the game files, and so I'll read it for you here. We already read personal entry number 1, so we can move on to personal entry number 2. I hardly know where to begin. First of all, the motherlode is real. Dad sure picked a strange secret passion project, but all right. Secondly, not only are there settlers showing up here, but they're chasing after some legend of buried treasure. Poppycock. And last but not least, I'm going to live there, with them. I'm heading there now to speak to someone named Paige. I'm terrified that they'll change their minds, but I just need to talk to someone. Anyone. Then moving on to personal entry 3. Alright, this place has more than begun to grow on me. Jen is a delight. Paige and Ward are both consummate gentlemen. And Derek brought me a casserole? I can't process how strange this is after so long on my own. Also, we've been working on the plan to break into Vault 79. And well, spy gadgets! Goodness, can you imagine? I've got the biometrics tricked into reading Jen as though she's her mother. Turns out the margin of error was somewhat high. My room came with a cat. I think I'll name her after my favorite ice cream. I miss ice cream. I wonder if Sunny can make some if I repair a cooling unit. Remember her cat was named Tutti Frutti? I tried to kill it. Then in personal entry number 4, I sincerely hate being kidnapped. At least someone fed my kitty. Honestly, what a chore. It was terrible when I was in prep school, and it's still terrible now. What an inconvenience. Wait, she was kidnapped when she was in prep school? More importantly, I can't believe what they did to the motherlode. What a waste! We'll never get that exact configuration back. I'm not going to complain about what she is now, but she's not the same. And then the next personal entry, number 5, changes based upon our decisions inside Vault 79. If we break our promise and don't give Foundation the full share we promised them, her entry goes like this. You think you know someone. Oh well, I never really was one for sentiment. We just need to work a lot harder now. That's fine. I'll try to steal a moment to write something later, but it's going to be hard. If we kept all the gold to ourselves, she ends by saying, at least they kept all of the gold for themselves and didn't give any to those raider pigs that kidnapped me. But if we had them share with the crater, she ends by saying, we have a lot of work we're going to have to do just to keep up with those raiders. If, however, we chose to keep our end of the bargain and give gold to the settlers, her entry reads like this. So much to plan out. Now that that's all over with, so many possibilities. We can really start making some improvements around here. I'll get back to this journal later when I have a moment. Despite having a consistent console to use to write these, I simply haven't had the time. Then, if we killed Jen's mother during her quest, Penny ends by saying, Jen came by to let me know she had to leave. I can't believe it. It won't be the same here without her. But if we saved her mother's life during that quest, Penny ends by saying, Jen brought back some components for the cooling unit, and after some experiments, I feel confident we are going to have some ice cream. We also see that Penny Hornwright has repaired our little Liberator drone, and we can find him marching around the catwalks. Paige doesn't have anything new to say. Even if we sided with Foundation, we find all of his default dialogue options. The same ones we find if we chose to side with Crater, the same ones we find if we don't start the DLC at all. It's a bit disappointing. But heading upstairs, we see that the soldiers have moved into a floating pod above the pond. We can chat with Captain Fields.
I don't have time for a lot of questions, Civvy. Make it quick.
How secure is Foundation?
More secure than it was yesterday, not as secure as it will be tomorrow. If you're worried about your safety here, don't be. We've got fortifications, turrets, guns, people that know how to use them.
What brought you here?
We were given a mission at the end of the war that brought us down this way. Then we ran into the Foundation crew north of here. They seemed like good folks, but we still had a mission to fulfill. So we shadowed them for a while until that danger was over. No sense in putting them in danger, you know? Seems like those days are finally done, though. No more missions, just retirement. About damn time.
Is the flock big enough?
Here we get a tiny hint as to what they might have been doing when the bombs dropped, but still no details as to what this mission was. Does everyone get along? Any troublemakers?
They're all upstanding folk. Paige wouldn't let them in if they weren't. Only personal problem I've got is Radcliffe and Jen constantly snipping at each other. She's just a kid, but Radcliffe's old enough to grow up already.
Then heading into their pod, we find a new note lying on a table, The Old Guard, Volume 14, Chapter 2. And it looks like Radcliffe has begun to write his memoirs. Volume 14, Chapter 2. Okay, where was I? Right. When I first signed up, it was an all-hands situation. We'd just gone to war. I was a dumb kid like all the others, but Fields watched my back, made sure my armor was in good repair. I only lost one toe to frostbite, compared to Thompson's 3, so when the crap hit the fan in Pittsburgh, you know I was expecting him to be all over saving those civvies we ran across. I never expected he'd blow his knee out just getting to his armor. Never expected he'd get shot. Thompson had Angel and Odysseus to protect him when he went down, or he'd be dead now, but it was rough to see. Angel lost her front leg from that. I found myself thinking, you know, we're all getting so old. Our last suit of armor's all beat to crap. Even if we make it out of this all right, he's going to be wearing the rig again for a while just to take the weight off his knee. Why shouldn't we just join those civvies? Finally retire? Just forget the past like all the other old jerks out there who lived through it. That night, we finally heard the broadcast again. It made everything feel a little less final. Our cores would run out soon. The armor was basically done for, but there were other ex-military folks still out there in Appalachia. We figured, you know, what's one more winter of this misery? It's only September. We are not that far away if we can avoid the hot zones. Won't take that long. We'll just take some time for Fields to heal up. We held on to the hope of meeting those troops for a long time after the last broadcast. Maybe they had an equipment failure. Maybe they weren't dead. Or I don't know. Maybe if they were dead, then they at least knew where the other remnants of the military were hiding out. Lots of maybes. I think that Fields and his remnants were trying to make it to Appalachia to meet up with Elizabeth Taggarty. But because Fields got injured in combat, they waited a while, only for the broadcast to stop. And we know why it did. They didn't make it here in time to join Taggarty's Thunder, to join the Brotherhood. And so they reached out to Foundation and ended up working with us. We see Private Lucky here, being a good boy. And we find Sergeant Thompson sleeping in bed.
Okay, 2 tips for you if Lucky gets fur on your stuff. Use rubber gloves or a squeegee to get it off. I'm serious, works every time. I can't help build Foundation, but I can protect the people that are doing the work. I report to Captain Fields, despite what Paige might think. Now, I don't use treats with Lucky anymore. Whenever I rewarded him as a puppy, I clicked a Nuka-Cola cap. Now, just click the cap. He's happy and fit.
But she just has NPC flavor dialogue. We can't have a conversation. Now, in the game where I sided with Foundation, I found Radcliffe missing. I don't know why. I did a bunch of server hopping, I tried it on several different days, and Radcliffe was just gone. However, on my character who sided with Crater, we find him walking around.
Don't mind Captain Fields. He's just saw there isn't an army anymore. Fields is all over my ass to upgrade our turrets. I gave him some line about needing to refraternize the dongle generators. He bought it. No offense to Fields and Thompson, but I'm thinking about retiring to one of those farmsteads. Grow some crops, take some naps. Escape Lucky's drool. That outfit is just bad. Badass, that is. So sweet. I sure do like this bunker more than the last bunker. It has a fresher smell.
But like Thompson, he just has NPC flavor dialogue. We can't have a conversation. In another nearby pod, we find Agent Mo Chu, if we chose to spare Jen's mother. Turning around, we find Jen sleeping in her bed. We can talk with her, but she has all the same dialogue we went through when we first met her. She doesn't have any new dialogue related to the Vault 79 heist or to us sparing her mother. However, on her table, we find Jen's journal, entry 1.
Jen's journal, first entry. If you're not an older, wiser me, then you shouldn't be listening to this. No, I'm kidding. Paige told me I should consider journaling to help me establish future goals. Right? Me? Have goals? Anyway, he says it also helps to digest experiences. Maybe that's true, maybe not. I guess we'll find out. A lot has happened lately, and I feel so grateful that Foundation, Paige, took me in years ago. And that everyone's been so kind and patient. We went up against some real challenges, and we succeeded. It feels really good, actually. So, how's that for digesting my experiences? Yikes, that was really pathetic. I'm sorry. I expected more of myself. Okay, wait. Was that a personal goal? I am killing this!
If instead we chose to kill Agent Mo Chu, when we come into this pod, we find Jen gone. And if we also chose to side with Foundation, we find a different holotape sitting on this table, but only if we sided with Foundation. Since I sided with Crater on my Raider character who killed Jen's mother, I don't find the holotape here. But the holotape is named Jen's Goodbye, and it has 2 versions. I'll read the transcripts for you here. In version 1, I'll make this brief. I'm leaving, and I don't want anyone coming to look for me. I already said my goodbyes to some of you. If I didn't say goodbye, it's probably because you're a jerk. Maybe that's shocking to hear. I don't know. I don't really care. So, if you run into me in the capital wasteland, then kindly leave me alone. Thanks in advance, and bye forever. Now, if we chose to keep all the gold for ourselves after the Vault 79 raid, Jen slips a note into our pocket, much like she did when she told us about the Chinese stealth suit that we could now craft after completing the quest Invisible Ties. This second note she slips into our pocket is called Note from Jen. Now, I don't have a character who actually got this note, so instead I'll read you the transcript. There's a price for being an asshole. For you, that price is going to be gold. When we finally get to that gold bullion, if we get there, I'm going to take some for myself. 10 bars is probably what I'll be able to handle. You'll never see me do it. I'm just gonna pop on my stealth field, take that gold, and walk out of there. And you'll never be the wiser until you read this. Don't bother to try to find me. I'm leaving Appalachia with my loot. Just remember, there's a price for being an asshole. Jen. Despite her saying she was gonna steal 10 gold bars from us, according to reports I've read from players who actually made these choices, she actually steals 100 bars of gold bullion. If we make that choice, and then come back here looking for Jen, the goodbye holotape we find on this table reads much differently. And it goes like this. Hey asshole, I left this tape here just for you. I bet you came here to see if you could get your gold back, didn't you? Well, tough luck. You'll never see me again. But I might be seeing you. Bye now. And with that, we lose 100 bars of gold bullion, and we never see Jen again. What a trickster. Then, moving into Paige's office, we find 5 new holotapes, each corresponding to a different moment in the Foundation questline. In Paige's bedroom, we find Paige's journal entry 1 lying on his desk.
Well, we've arrived. We're finally here. It's a damn sight better than the pit. Hopefully we can make a better go of things. Now that folks won't be afraid to start families. Some of us forgot what green living things looked like after the war. The only green we saw was the poison lingering in the air of the capital when we left on the last train out of Union Station. There's so much energy to build when you finally think things might be able to last. It's a home. A real home. Finally.
Sounds like he recorded this just as the settlers arrived while they were building Foundation. And we learned something interesting about the universe. Trains in Pittsburgh still worked not long after the nuclear apocalypse. By the time the Lone Wanderer gets there during the events of Fallout 3, we don't find any working trains, but all the tracks work. The Lone Wanderer was able to take the train tracks all the way from the capital wasteland, the ruins of Washington, D.C., to the pit, the ruins of Pittsburgh. So that part at least checks out. And we learned that survivors of the apocalypse called the ruins of Pittsburgh the Pit early in Fallout's timeline. It didn't take 200 years for Pittsburgh to become the Pit. No, it was the Pit at least 25 years after the apocalypse. We find the next one, Entry 2, lying on a table by the TV.
Whenever we get someone new to Foundation, I take the time to meet them. I ask them their name, their story, take their measure. For posterity, sort of. More so I don't forget, if I'm being honest. So today I'm talking to Dr. Penelope Hornwright. Are you willing to tell me about yourself, Doctor?
Sure. I was born before the war, around here. My father was something of a well-known industrialist.
Of course, Daniel Hornwright. I read the papers, back when we had papers to read. So you're a scientist?
Yes, a geochemist.
Uh-huh. Not much of a job market these days, huh?
Well, I still use it. Your farmers will appreciate the soil sample tests that I'm working on. But yes, mostly these days I work with robots. I'm not an expert by pre-war standards, but around here I'm like Merlin.
I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but you're the first ghoul to join our community. We haven't had the chance to talk to many ghouls. How'd it happen?
Most communities have a shoot-first policy because of the ferals. As you can see, some of us do retain our essential personhood despite the physical changes. I was exposed to a large dose of radiation. I negotiated entry from my child in exchange for fixing the vault's door. I knew I was going to get stuck outside, that I'd get dosed. I was the only one who could fix it, though. That was a long time ago. My daughter's nearly 20 now. Oh, would it be all right if we got back to this later? My experiment timer's about to go off.
Oh, sure. No rush. I'll be here when you want to talk some more.
This one answers a few of our questions we had about Penny. The family she left behind in that vault up north was her daughter. A daughter she gave birth to a few years after the apocalypse. So it likely wasn't from an encounter with Bryce Garahan, her boyfriend at the time. Unless, of course, he somehow survived the apocalypse, they ran off together and he just died later, or left for some reason. So Penny's daughter is in a vault. I wonder if we'll ever meet her. Turning around, we find Entry 3 by the projector.
I'm worried about Jen. The last mission was rough on her. Who'd have thought her mother was alive and in some kind of underground communist pyramid? Certainly not me. I'm not into speculative fiction anymore. Maybe there's something we can do to raise her spirits. Spaghetti night, or hell, maybe some campfire songs and moonshine. Scavenger run into Watoga's comic shop. That's the way. Maybe the good doctor can lend a hand with all the killer robots.
And this entry is the same, whether or not we killed Agent Mochu. Then, on the other side of this room, lying on a console, we find Entry 4.
Hell, Fields finally brought his people into the fold. Took him long enough. I guess for those three, coming here was about trying to find another unit to join. When that unit ended up being dead, they didn't know where else they belonged. Well, Foundation's community will do them some good. Do us some good, too.
As we learned from Radcliffe's note, that unit they wanted to join was probably Elizabeth Taggarty's, who, as we know, wound up dead. If, after this point, we chose to side with Crater, the final holotape doesn't spawn. But if we sided with Foundation, we find the fifth and final holotape on a table by the projection screen.
Well, we did it. Hopefully that's the hard work done. This is just a huge step forward for our community, and for Appalachia as a whole. I know those raiders can't be too happy, but honestly, what do they expect? Their philosophy for life is pure hubris. It's not freedom to let people just shoot each other up or steal with no consequences. It's pure chaos. Anyway, if they come looking to cause trouble, we ought to be ready. I'd tell Ward to double the guard for a bit, but he likely already has. Next thing we need to do is discuss how we can expand. We have a lot of folks just starting out who need homes, farms, businesses. Time to start drawing up plans. We don't want to rush into anything without thinking about sustaining this place, protecting the people here. Better call a meeting with Ward and such.
We find that holotape only if we chose to give Foundation their share of the gold. If we chose to split it between Foundation and the Raiders, we get a holotape that reads like this. Well, it's done and over with. I guess I understand the desire to divide things up evenly between the folks in Crater and us in Foundation. I'm not sure I see any scenario where they use their funds in a way that's good for the overall community of Appalachia, but maybe I'm missing something. Anyway, we need to focus on making the best of things here for our people, protecting everybody here and enriching their lives with what we've got. I'll have to have a meeting with Ward and some of the others to figure out our plans for expansion, homesteads, and so on. Not sure how much we can expand and still protect our own, so it's going to have to be planned thoroughly before we do anything. I want to believe we can. And if we chose to keep all of the gold for ourselves, we find this final holotape. Well, it's done. We raided the vault, found a bunch of actual living Secret Service goons there. Who could have anticipated that? Things have been set in motion to maybe change things around here for the better. Timeline's iffy, though. We'll have to build up some scratch before we're welcome at the table. Then, maybe we can think about expanding around here. We've got a lot of newcomers who will want to put down homesteads, work with Foundation to secure this area against the growing threat of Crater. We can do this. We've got to do this. Then, if we convince Dr. Aubrey to come back to Foundation instead of staying and likely dying in that cave where we found him, we find a note on his bedside table. Aubrey's notes. Today I learned there's a greater threat here in Appalachia, an infection called the Scorched Plague. Our camp was attacked by a group of Scorched. I did what I could to help the others, but survival instincts kicked in. As a doctor, I'm ashamed to admit I fled to save myself. Of all people, a vault dweller found me. Said the Scorched are caused by an infection. We always knew they were once people and other living creatures, but I never thought a disease would be the source. The Vault Dweller has promised an inoculation. I've reinforced this to Paige, and luckily, he was in a listening mood. If we want to survive out here, we'll need more than walls. And that's really all that changes here in Foundation after the raid on Vault 79. But things are different in Crater. Heading to Crater, we can start by using Johnny's key to read what was on his terminal. Never forget your rules to live by. Trust no one. Always keep them guessing. We find 2 options in the first, potential jobs. We find 4 options in the first, the arena. We find 3 further options in the first, entry 1. Meg may have lost some interest in the arena, but now that I know Hal's there, I can't drop it. I got a plan to get inside, but it's a 2-person job, and something tells me Meg isn't going to let me use any of her people for what she'd call a personal affair. In the next one, entry 2, Meg's taken an odd liking to a local vault dweller. Much to my surprise, this person's got grit, a real survivor. This vault dweller may be just who I need to get to Hal, and Meg wouldn't have a thing to say about it. And in the final one, entry 3, this entry changes depending on how well we performed during the arena job with Johnny. If we succeeded and we stuck with Johnny's plan, it reads like this. The job was a success thanks to our new Vault Dweller. After what I saw, Vault 79 should be a drop in the bucket. I'm going to leave this entry open since the arena could still have future potential. If, however, we didn't stick to the plan, it reads like this. The job was a mess thanks to our new Vault Dweller. I've never seen such sloppy work, and Meg thinks we actually need this person? I'll let her know, but I got a feeling she'll never cut the Vault Dweller out at this point. Meg's too honorable for her own good. Once again, it's going to fall to me to clean up someone else's mess. I'm going to leave this entry open since the arena could still have future potential. Backing out of the arena, we can read The Wayward. Place the Wayward location the forest, take caps and intel. I stopped by a recently opened bar called The Wayward. Lots of potential here. Travelers of all types. People constantly coming and going. I just need a persona to get in good with Duchess, and I'm gold. In the next one, Foundation. Foundation is a target in more ways than one. Meg's going to be planning a lot of raids on those poor bastards. If I can get in good with them, I can charge for intel. Not only that, I can charge them for my own services if they feel like paying up. In the next one, Vault 79, I overheard Meg talking to the Vault Dweller about a whale of a heist. Apparently, good old Uncle Sam hid all his gold in Vault 79, which just happens to be right here in Appalachia. Meg's got the Vault Dweller helping her put together a team, so this is the perfect opportunity to finally pull off that arena job. Backing out of potential jobs, we can read his personal notes. In the first one, Hal deceased. I screwed up. I'm a selfish asshole and Hal paid the price. I should have let him go, or convinced him to stay. He's the most solid partner I ever had, the only real relationship I ever had. Hell, probably the only real thing in general I ever had. He is dead, and it's my fault. I'll never forgive myself. Now I think we begin to understand exactly why Johnny got so angry after we brought Hal up inside Vault 79.
Damn it! That was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Hal was my partner, my best friend. I loved him like a brother. But if I'm being honest, I wouldn't miss you at all. I might even miss you less, since you went and mentioned Hal.
He's suffering with his own guilt. He regrets killing Hal in the arena. Next, we can read The Vault Dweller. You wouldn't think someone living in a vault all this time would have any skills that mattered in a world like this, but this dweller is one to watch, and Meg agrees. We'll all be running this heist Meg's got cooking for Vault 79. It should be an interesting test of skill for everyone involved. We'll see what this vault dweller's made of. Hope they've got some negotiating skills, because I'll be testing those for damn sure. In the next one, Rose. I came across this crackpot of a Miss Nanny, calls herself Rose, and claims to be a raider. She's going on and on about the raider ways, and trying to test out some of her old methods, as if I have time for that. But she has knowledge of what happened here, so she could be a valuable asset. I figure, if anything, she also claims to have a cache that may have something of value hidden inside. These are all references to the primary plot of Fallout 76. Then, in Duchess, Duchess runs The Wayward, a fairly new establishment here in Appalachia. The woman's got moxie, and if I didn't know any better, I'd say she could even give Meg a run for her money. She's got a business that's bringing in the caps and attracting people from all over. That means information I can sell, use, or both. And finally, we can read Paige. From what I can tell, Foundation is run by a guy named Paige. Very no-nonsense. Not really my type for business, but I can't pass on Foundation as a potential opportunity. He is smart, though, not manipulated by the idea of caps or chems like most. I'll have to play my cards right if I want to pursue this one. We get the idea that Gentleman Johnny Two Guns Weston is a very complex and conflicted character. Or rather, I should say, he was. Heading down the spiral staircase, we can do something I've dreaded doing since the beginning of this quest. We can help out Lou with his problem.
It's you. Guess we got business to settle, huh?
This is about our arrangement, isn't it? Let's talk.
Now that it's real, I'm having some second thoughts again.
Again? What do you mean?
All those machines I rigged up back in mine to kill myself? Well, maybe it wasn't just dumb luck that made them not work right. What if I didn't want them to work?
So you're not as lucky as everyone says?
Nah, I am. I won the Great War Lottery by surviving what should have killed me. I live longer than almost anyone could ever hope. It ain't that. Maybe I ain't ready to die. So maybe I didn't put my all into those death traps on purpose. Because I wanted them to fail. You want to convince me one way or another, now's your chance.
Do you really think you'll go feral? What if you don't, and you kill yourself for nothing?
I'm worried about taking that risk. We crater folks ain't good people, but none of them deserve to be eaten alive. Especially if they have as much trouble killing me as I've had trying to die.
People care about you, Lou. Are you sure this is what you want?
Do they? I know Meg does. Always asking how I am. Maybe the little girl, too. Wants me to play with her all the time. Come to think, you killed everyone who ever gave me a hard time. And the rest seems to show some respect. Guess you're right.
I doubt you'll ever go feral. But if you do, I've got your back.
Sounds like a promise to me. One I expect you to keep this time. But you did pull me out of this mess. And I'm glad you did. Gonna be tough to thank yous properly. But I'll think of something. You'll see.
And with that, we earn a little bit of raider reputation. Heading back to him, he has something for us.
Hey, got something for yous. Want it?
Sure, what is it?
What's it look like? I'll give yous a hint. It goes boom. Now let me alone.
And he hands us a randomly generated explosive.
I never thought I'd be saying it. But you was right. Living's the right choice.
I'm glad you finally came around.
Wasn't easy, let me tell you. Letting go of that fear, of losing control. Hardest thing I ever done. But you was right. That fear's holding me back. Like blinders. I couldn't see that people cared. Couldn't see that I was needed.
No regrets?
Not I used to. Like looking in the mirror. But this ugly mug, now I know it don't mean nothing to the people I care about. Indians are probably right about me not going feral. I did some more asking around, and nobody seen no ghoul ever go feral. So, I'm glad all yins cleared my head of that concern now. What a load off.
I'm just glad you see it that way now.
Sure beats the alternative. But knowing people care and that they ain't worried about it means I gotta step up and do the same. What kind of jag-off would I be moping around like that? Nah, it makes more sense to be the poster boy for us kind. Maybe there's other ghouls like me thinking the same things I did. Maybe I can help them out like you did for me.
All you really wanted was to keep those people safe.
Damn right I do. And now, all I gotta worry about is the amount of explosives I keep around. And that's easy compared to going feral.
Wait, you have active explosives just laying around?
Aw, don't get your gut cheese in a bunch. They ain't dangerous unless I want them to be.
They've still got Lucky Lou to protect them.
Time to start really living up to the name, ain't it? Though maybe if I was really lucky, none of the bad stuff would ever happen.
We've already lost enough people around here, right?
Well, first of all, screw 11th Surge. Even though Gentleman Johnny ain't much of a loss. But Fisher, that's the one that hurt most. If I'd never laid into him about telling you where I was, you may never have joined that train wreck. It ain't like Fisher to take on Lev's ways. Guy had morals, like Meg. Been my pal since I joined up with this crew.
It's not your fault. Fisher made the choice.
You're just full of life lessons, ain't ya? Next time you want to talk, maybe I can lie down on a couch while you take some notes.
Fisher was a traitor. End of story.
I'm telling you, it ain't that simple. We both know our crew ain't black and white. We're all about that gray area. Sometimes you just get too deep in the dark, to make that one bad decision.
I'm sorry you lost a friend.
Don't get all sappy on me. That ain't my thing. I just plan on focusing on keeping the ones I got. Anyway, I may have chosen to live, but that don't mean I've transformed into a social butterfly gnat. Though, maybe I'll try opening up a little. Now I don't gotta worry about getting close to people.
That's right. Unlike Foundation, so many people have died here in Crater just while pursuing this quest. We've killed more Crater raiders while siding with Crater than we would have by siding with Foundation. Some irony in that, and I'm with him there. The only one I really regret is Fisher. I feel like Fisher made the choice he did because he felt it was the right thing to do, but it wasn't something he wanted to do. Heading topside, we can at last check in with Meg. And if we chose to side with Foundation, Meg has unique dialogue.
I was wondering when you'd work up the nerve to show your face around here, 7-6. I had quite a mess on my hands after that little stunt you pulled. My crew's calm, for now. But you got a lot of work to do if you aim to get back in our good graces.
Anyone here would have done the same.
I won't argue with that. And yeah, we all knew it was a possibility.
I'm done working for you.
Hey, it's your choice, 7-6. I don't force anyone around here to do nothing they don't want to.
You're still good?
Someone with your skills? You're damn right. Believe it or not, I still got this crew to take care of. Making an enemy out of you ain't high on my list.
Strange that Paige doesn't say anything similar for a character who chooses to side with Crater. But if we chose to side with Crater, her conversation goes very differently.
Well, if it ain't my favorite vault dweller. Still riding high from pulling off that job?
I'm just glad it's over.
I expected a little more enthusiasm after all the work you put into it.
I'm surprised we pulled it off with that crew.
Ain't anyone ever tell you, looks can be deceiving?
Hell yeah! Ready for the next job.
Now don't be getting ahead of yourself, 7-6. Thanks to you, we now have the resources to take it easy a little bit. Focus our efforts on safety. Do a little celebrating. These people are well overdue for a morale boost, especially due to the recent losses. Losing Johnny is really gonna take a toll.
I'm not falling for this sympathy bit.
We ain't bad people, 7-6. Ain't my fault if you can't see that. Besides, I don't give a shit about what you believe or don't.
Can you tell me a little more about Johnny?
Johnny Weston was one of a kind. That man could talk his way in or out of just about anything. This ain't to say he wasn't a major thorn in my side at times. The man was a real pain in the ass when it came to negotiations. I can't vouch that Johnny was truly loyal or cared about anyone but himself. But the man came through for us more times than I can count.
How did Johnny join up with you?
Just jobs over time. We came to know him as a man who gets things done, and he came to know us as people who always pay up. A symbiotic relationship, if you know what I mean. Of course, that doesn't mean we gotta like each other all the time.
Johnny only looked out for himself.
I ain't gonna argue. And I can say that's why most of us are here to begin with. Survival is a natural instinct, 7-6. And the people here will do just about anything to survive. That's why we never fully trust anyone round here.
He's better off dead. He'd turn traitor eventually.
For the right price, I don't put it past him. Much as I took a shine to Johnny, you learn pretty fast not to drop your guard around him. Relationships around here are complicated, 7-6. You either get wise or get the hell out.
You lost a lot of people.
Losing people ain't nothing new. You just feel the loss of some more than others. I'm responsible for these people, and I can't have any more of them dying or gone missing on my watch. Just gotta keep them on the right path.
You really think you guys are on the right path?
You're damn right I do. This ain't the world it used to be, 7-6. Things change, people change. Adapt or die, you dig? But we get a few bad apples, people like Lev, and we slowly start turning into them. That's one bleak future. And if people gotta disappear so I can maintain that path, so be it.
So what's the deal with the Blood Eagles?
Heard they originated from some old biker gang, but they ain't nobody's friend. You want a group to be worried about? There's your thugs and murderers.
Your crew seems fine to me, Meg.
And that's why you're still among us, 7-6. We may take in all types here, but I especially love it when I see potential. And you've definitely got that spark, which is why I ain't risking you as an enemy. Can't have them fools over at Foundation get the upper hand. They spending all their time looking down their noses at us like we're the real enemy, when all we're trying to do is make a living.
How'd you get this crew together?
Short story. It's all about survival. Lots of people out there that got left behind, just like we did back in the day. It's amazing how people's view of each other changes once there ain't no structure left in the world. People like Lou, Gale, and Rara, no one wants to take a chance on them, so we take them in. Losing Johnny's really gonna take a toll.
Foundation is weak. Easy pickings.
That's the way, 7-6. I like your style. Just so you know, I sent the word out so everyone knows you made good on your deal. You shouldn't have to watch your back as much. Stick with us, and I'm sure it won't be long till we're all high fives and handshakes. So stay hip and see you around, 7-6.
By choosing that last option, we earn a raider reputation, and it locked me out of choosing the other one. So instead we can say, what are your plans now?
Make this place a home. As I'm sure you can tell, the people I run with ain't all good apples. I gotta do what I can to keep them on the right path. Them Blood Eagles out there, they're the real bad news.
It seems strange to me that Bethesda took the time to tie up these loose ends with the Raiders to give us this bit of closure with Meg, but they don't really provide any of that with Foundation. From here on out, neither Paige, nor Ward, nor any of the other characters really reference what we did at Vault 79, but they do in Crater. Altogether, I feel like the Crater pathway is the better story. It's more fleshed out. There are greater consequences to our choices. The Foundation path is more interesting from a background lore perspective. We learn more about the Horn Rites. We find a pre-war Chinese spy bunker. But the Raider pathway is more interesting from a personal perspective. The characters are also different, complex, and they change as we interact with them. Then, heading to the Wayward, we can learn what our friends here have to say now that we've found the great treasure of Appalachia.
Well, well, well. You hear? Couple hunters found the treasure. Vault full of gold, apparently. Wouldn't it be nice for someone like that to pop by our little establishment? Now, what can I get you?
Interestingly, Duchess didn't have this opening line when I talked with her on my Raider character. But the other major characters here each had something unique to say about the heist to both my characters.
So, they weren't lying after all. There is a treasure in Appalachia. Wonder what that'll mean for us.
Did you hear? Someone found the damn treasure and it turns out to be gold. How useless is that? A cake full of snack cakes would be more productive. Someone else's problem. But what's going on?
A vault full of gold, ready to pour over Appalachia. I'm sure everyone will behave totally rationally regarding this sudden new influx of wealth. Now, what can I do for you?
And we meet a brand new character here in the Wayward. Sitting upstairs, we find a guy wearing very patriotic garb named Smiley.
You can never have enough gold. Well, hello there. You currently in the market for gold bullion? That's right. I got stacks of the stuff for you.
How did you get gold bullion?
Here and there. I've got 1,000 friends. Hopefully, you're one too. Don't worry about the specifics. Think of all you can get with it. The Secret Service has a lot of very exclusive, very powerful tech, right? So, let's do some business.
Nice outfit.
I am the truest of patriots, and nothing says America more than a pile of gold. Am I right? So, can I help you showcase your own American spirit?
I'm interested.
Everyone's interested, but do you have the caps to pay?
Smiley can convert caps to gold bullion, which is handy in case we're better at earning caps than gold bullion, or in case we're sitting on a pile of caps that we don't know what to do with. 1,000 caps translates into 50 gold bullion, and he's willing to trade a maximum of 6,000 caps for 300 gold bullion. And the bullion we can purchase from Smiley here is not restricted by our 200 gold bullion daily cap that we get by exchanging treasury notes. If, for example, we've already earned 200 gold bullion today and we want more, we can come here to Smiley and buy up to 300 from him. However, he has a weekly gold bullion cap. We can only buy up to 300 gold bullion from him each week. So even though this means that by combining treasury notes and caps, we could earn up to 500 gold bullion on one day, we can earn only up to 1,700 gold bullion each week. 1,400 by exchanging treasury notes, and 300 we can buy from Smiley. And last, we can head to the Overseer's house in Sutton to check in with our Overseer.
So, it's done. A vault full of gold. You can't really ask for a better symbol of prosperity, can you?
A bunch of idiots guarding a big pile of worthless junk? Yeah, it's a real American dream.
One of these days, I'm gonna drill that cynicism out of your head. But fine. Moan and groan all you want. You've earned the right. I guess I'll just hold on to hope for the both of us.
Just like Vault-Tec would have wanted. Look at us, prepared for the future.
I'll admit, in the end, they helped us out after all. I'm sure this wasn't exactly what they had in mind, but who knows?
We couldn't have done it without you.
Shouldn't I be the one saying that? You made contact with the newcomers. You assembled a team. You got into that vault. All I did was give you a firm shove out the door. It's what overseers do, I guess. Now I think it's time we talked about what happened in there.
And here she has unique dialogue depending on the faction we sided with. If we sided with Foundation...
I heard you made some tough calls. I'm curious. Why choose Foundation to share the gold with? I have my thoughts, but I want to hear yours.
It was them or a bunch of backstabbing raiders. No contest there.
Fair enough. I have a feeling we'll be dealing with the raiders for a long time to come. But that was probably going to be true whether or not they got any gold. I see a lot of promise in that settlement, those people. I think you did the right thing.
Or if we sided with Crater...
I hope the raiders appreciate that gold you gave them. To be honest, I'm worried about their reliability. You think you can handle them?
What, do you think I should have sided with the settlers?
What? No. I wasn't questioning your judgment, just worrying out loud.
Better to be their friend than their next victim.
I just hope they remember which one of those you are. Their respect seems to be fickle. But you know them better than I do. I trust your judgment.
They're strong. They'll protect the gold.
As long as they don't forget that their strength comes from our help. They seem to have short memories. Well, I may not trust them, but I trust you. You had to make a decision. It won't be an easy alliance, but we'll have plenty of time to deal with it in the future. So, with the mystery of Vault 79 solved and the gold recovered, maybe it's time to start thinking about what kind of future we all want to make.
A break from you bossing me around? Sounds like heaven.
With residents like you to boss around, why would I ever stop? If there's one thing I wish I could get through to you, it's this. You don't have to like me. I'm still your overseer. Whenever you need me, I'll be right here.
I've been wondering, do you think Vault-Tec planned for us to find Vault 79?
I don't know. But we'd be fools if we didn't think it was a possibility they considered. I'm done worrying about the societal preservation program, the right and wrong of it, whether we're just following their plans or not. That's why I'm not going anywhere. And I hope you won't either. Well, I'm sure you've got other more important things to do than listen to me preach about my mission as Overseer. Come and visit any time if you need me. I'll be here, keeping an eye on Appalachia as best I can.
And that is the full story of Fallout 76 Wastelanders. There are a few other things we could cover. Daily quests for earning gold bullion and so forth. And we may tackle them in upcoming videos, but the primary plot is done. And living, breathing people have at last returned to Appalachia. I publish new Fallout videos each and every week on my channel, so if you like this video, be sure to subscribe and to click that bell notification button. If you feel like you're not getting your YouTube notifications, consider following me on Twitter at Oxhorn. I update Twitter manually with every new piece of content that I publish. I've got a shirt shop with completely unique designs that you can't find anywhere else. My designs come on shirts in a variety of men's, women's, and children's sizes and in a wide array of colors. You can find them on other products as well, like smartphone cases, pillows, posters, mugs, stickers, prints, etc. So if interested, you can find a link to my shop in the description below, or you can click here. If you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming a patron on Patreon or a member here on YouTube. YouTube members and patrons on Patreon are becoming increasingly important as YouTube continues to make platform changes that make the future of YouTube monetization uncertain. So to all of my YouTube members and my patrons on Patreon, you have my sincerest thanks. I couldn't do this without you. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with more brand new videos.
Time to fix it now. I must stop those escapees.